Mom, Dad, I just love you. I want to make sure everything's okay. 1 in 5 seniors are getting targeted. If you want to decide, it's your money, but please contact me so I can just, be another voice of reason. Unqualified, unsolicited, and totally honest opinions on midlife. Okay, this conversation today could be super uncomfortable, but it's super needed.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. And it's having the money talk with your parents, with your aging parents
Oh.
before it's too
So it's not uncomfortable for you and I.
well, because we've already gone through it.
No, but right now, right here. That's what I'm
Oh,
asking.
no. Yes. But I'm just saying for people, it is an uncomfortable situation. You don't have to be uncomfortable right now. Is what okay. You good?
Dodge the bullet.
Dodge a bullet. Okay. But it is so needed because there are a lot of cognitive issues, and you do need to kind of start the conversation with them to see what's going on before they start to forget things or there is cognitive decline or something like that. And our parents' generation, for the most part, super private, right?
Yeah, it kind of feels like it. My
Yeah.
parents definitely are. Yeah.
Yeah, and they wanna keep
Arr.
it I think for their own independence, they wanna, like, keep it safeguarded. They also might have insecurities of what their choices have been, or they just still wanna feel like they are the elder, which isn't including their adult child in their finances. But when you come at it with, "Hey, mom and dad, these are some reasons why I feel like I need to get involved,"
Which are what?
which are like because someone needs to be the power of attorney. And what that is if and when your parent gets to the point where they cannot make decisions on their own or pay their own bills, that power of attorney for financial is able to do so. And if you don't have that in place, holy cow, is it a nightmare. So you can decide with your siblings who is best suited to be the power of attorney.
Right.
But someone does need to be the power of attorney. In financial situations. Another reason is because I remember my mom, like if she was going on vacation or something. I mean, this has happened for years, but she's like, Barb, this second pair of shoes in my closet on the upper shelf, the left shoe has a bunch of my cash in it. And you're like, that kind of seems like a bad idea. They're just this this generation where it's like there's literally gold hidden places.
Right,
There's
right.
cash under mattresses. They have all these emergency fail safe plans. And I've heard stories where people are moving their parent and or like someone has died, a grandparent, and they were like getting rid of books and they realized the grandparent put cash in between every page of books. And they're like, wait, don't get rid of the books. Everybody check the books.
I
So
know.
these things
Then that
happen.
makes for a stressful situation. Like you don't want to get rid of anything because you don't know what's hidden in it. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So you really have to I mean, even the mom shoe thing, when we moved her from her home to the retirement
Yeah, you
home,
kind of found some
I
stuff. I
was
remember.
taking out cash. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, I better check all the pocket. Like anywhere cash could be, I was checking for it. It was like a scavenger hunt, but I was like, are you kidding me? Like just rolls of cash.
Yeah, but it wasn't even that much cash if I can remember. You're talking like $40, fifty
No, there was
dollars.
more than that. I
I
mean,
don't know.
definitely. And then,
But you're
yeah,
not enough to like, I don't know. Yeah,
yeah,
but
but
still.
they do stash things like social security cards and things that you don't want someone
Right.
else
Right.
finding. So it's just really good to sit down, have that conversation. Conversations, I always say you want to connect with them first, like you would with your kid before you have a conversation or your husband, like, I love you. Hey, how are you? Let's hang out. And then like talk about something and always keep it in I statements. Like, I just have heard that it's a good idea for someone to be the power of attorney. I really am thinking, I want to help you in the best way possible. I. And
Right.
then also, because I think one of our parents' biggest fears is becoming a burden. And when you say, this will help me take the stress off of me if I'm aware of what's the situation, then they'll want to do it. So you want to just make it like that they're not a burden. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
but I mean the issue here is just that if they get too far down the road with like cognitive
Oh,
issues
yeah.
or if they pass away, it just makes you
Oh,
or
I've heard so many nightmares because if they pass away and there's an account and your name's not on it, it can be stuck. You can lose tons of money. Getting the power of attorney before there's cognitive decline is huge because that can get really messy. Then
right.
you're paying more for an elder law attorney. Getting a power of attorney in place before there's cognitive decline is anywhere from $300 to $800. It's pretty easy pretty minimal and you just want to do that. You should have a lawyer do that and get clear with your siblings of who is that point person. And it can change. It used to be my brother alone and now it's me because now I'm with my mom all the time. So it can totally change, but get someone in place that makes sense right now. Definitely as soon as you can. I'm always like stressing that because yeah, you can lose a ton of money and a ton of your sanity in all that. So
The whole thing, you already lose your sanity.
yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah.
And also, not only find out where the gold and hidden cash lives, but it's really getting in place. I mean, my mom has a ton of accounts, and you want to know
Yeah.
where. And she was so good about, I know in her retirement community, there would be speakers that will come. And my mom did a lot to not be a burden. So she has long term care insurance, she has annuities, she has all this stuff. And she didn't really have her like point financial advisor. So I just had to figure out where, between my brother and I, where her accounts were, like her retirement accounts and her long-term accounts, and get that all in one place and just see where the passwords are. And my mom wasn't really using computers, so this is before then. But if your parents are, you need to know what are the
Yeah.
passwords, where
You
do
gotta be
these
able
accounts
yeah.
live? And if your parent doesn't remember all of them, a good place to find that is their tax returns. Because if they get any interest or anything, that's going to come on their tax return. So that's it will kind of fill in the holes if there is anything that else. Just check their tax returns about other items that might pop
Like
up.
missing, like an account that you didn't know.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, but that's really huge. And then on the topic of long-term care, this is kind of something that's dying off, but it's a long-term care fund where it will help your parents with care when they get older. So it's a subsidized that they've paid into.
Yeah.
And always ask your parents if they have this because my mom does, and it's been really helping a lot, especially for the saving grace of Sally that is her companion. So we pay her through this fund,
Right.
which is super awesome. If your parent doesn't have a long term care plan, totally fine. But just check in with them. Like, what's your, I'm just checking in. I just want to see budget wise. Like, obviously, they're getting Social Security, but like my mom was a teacher. She has PERS. There's different funds and monthly payments that they have to check in place about. Again, this can feel invasive for the adult child, like you're asking for inheritance or like seeing where the money lives and how much there is, but it's not.
Yeah, I mean,
You have to
I
know.
wonder if there's paper workarounds where they could do the power of attorney if they're super private, right? And then just have them write out all the accounts on a piece of paper and then put it in some sort of safe.
Yeah,
And maybe you're like, hey, I won't touch this until
totally.
it's needed, or
Yeah.
yeah, I
Or
wonder.
you can have a third party. If you have a financial advisor, they are the perfect person for, or wealth management, whatever you
Yeah,
have. They are the perfect like middle ground to be like, sure, I know all these things. I can walk you through them. Just so you know what's there or what accounts are, and then you can
right.
just kind of keep a Google Doc or paper trail, whatever, so you know. And then you just say, hey, I'm not getting involved right now, but I just want to make sure this is in place just in case something were to happen so we don't lose this. And so we can use this for you,
Yeah,
you know?
it's already hard enough, I guess, with taxes and transferring
Oh,
everything as it
yeah.
is. That
They don't make it easy at all. They don't. They
there
don't.
might be a reason for that.
Yeah. And another huge thing that I wanted to touch base on is senior scams. 1 in 5 seniors are scammed. It is so scary. It is so sad. I always
Yeah,
think the people that do that and prey on seniors, I'm like, oh, you must feel really bad at night, like going to bed. And it's just so sad because my mom, she had the same phone number I had since I mean, like even
yeah,
probably before I was born.
yeah.
And when we moved her in, we moved her phone and we had to get disconnected because there was she got more spam calls than
Well, she's also of that generation that if the phone rings, she has to answer it.
has to answer it.
You'd be like, "You don't need to answer it. Just let it if you don't recognize the number, don't answer it."
Yeah.
But no,
And
they
she's so nice and she'll engage. And so I'm sure she's checked off as like, nice sucker. Like, what, call her back and put her on every list. And so, I mean, she would
Yeah,
get calls from like random people that they got in an accident and they need some help. And she'd
I
be like, oh, are
know.
you okay? And I'm like, hey up, abort, abort. And she'd be like, she wouldn't know. Publishers Clearinghouse, which by the way, they don't call you if you win. I've looked this up so many times because she like, Barb, he called me and I'm like, let me
Right.
guess, he just needed your checking account routing number.
Just to deposit
Yeah.
the
I'm like,
money.
oh my gosh,
Uh,
mom. And speaking of checks, checks are the most scary things to have your senior parent walk around with. They
access
used to
to.
walk with their checkbooks and like have them in there. And my mom, I mean, I remember when we started getting involved more, she'd have checks in her pocket. And also she has Kleenex in her pocket, lipstick, like sunglasses. And I'm like, she's pulling it out. And I'm like, if your check fell out, someone could write themselves a check
Yeah.
and it's gone. It's not like a credit card where they could work and like pull it back. So I always, if the minute you step in with your parents, big, do not let them walk around with checkbook because I just feel like they are just targeted for
Yeah.
if they steal a purse. So at least it's like, everything else is annoying, but
Make it a little bit harder.
protected. Yes. And so, but on the scam portion, I think no matter how old your parent is, just be like, hey, I listened to this awesome podcast
Boom.
and boom. And I heard how prevalent 1 in 5 seniors is getting scammed.
Oh yeah. My mom was here like it must have been like
Oh,
4 or 5 years ago, and I was like overhearing it as I was working in my office, and she's talking to this guy, and he just started getting her. And then at one point in time, it had gone on for like maybe 45 minutes. And I was like, what is happening? And I walk out there and I'm like, what are you doing? And she started to like give information. I was like, wait a minute. I just
yeah.
grabbed the phone and I was like, hey, yo, I'm a smart dude.
Yeah.
You're pulling over on me. Stop, leave her alone, And
Yeah.
this guy kept trying to go that said he was just, and it was just a huge scam. And I
Yeah.
like
It's so
shut him
sad.
down.
Oh, yeah. And I've heard,
But
yeah.
it seemed the build up to it seemed legit, and that's why at first I was letting it go, and then yeah,
Yeah.
they're
And then
smart. They're very clever.
they like connect and then they like
I think
get
in this
more and
age you
more.
can't believe anything. Like you really
No,
have
just
to.
so sad.
Unfortunately, you kind of
Like,
have to.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like, do
but
not share this information. And I think it's a really good conversation to have with your parent, really at any stage. Do you have aging parents and you're still raising your kids? Then welcome to the sandwich generation. It can be super overwhelming, but I've got you. I wrote an ebook that helps you save time, energy, and money. And you can get your copy on thesandwichgen.com/ebook, and it will help you with all the things you need. And also, hey, why don't we have a thing that you don't spend over $500 unless you talk to me or
what are
like
you talking
help
about?
me
Like a
validate.
green light card for
Yes. So I was
something?
gonna get into this too, but just on the other part, I mean, so many of my friends have been calling me like and have had to spend hours or days just untangling this mess of fraud with their parent and going to the
Oof.
bank and changing. I mean, it is a problem. And I bet anyone their parent has had, something happen. It's really, really sad and scary. So I had a one-on-one call with someone that was like, I need to keep tabs on my parents' accounts and what should I do? Because I don't want to insult them, but I feel like I need to put
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
for cognitive challenged parents, like put a spending amount in place. So I said, definitely get alerts on their credit cards. When you have a power of attorney in place, you can call their credit card company. Your name will be on there. You just have to fax it to them or however, so you're on their account. And you could be on their account, but not like as spending, but you could just
Yeah.
be listed as power of attorney. And you'd be like, I want to get alerts. And also, you can get their
Which
login
is why it's
information.
like you.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
my
And be like,
sister.
hey, this is
Yeah.
my parent is over. I want you to be like watching their card for amounts that are over this amount. You can set that. And then also with checking accounts, if they have their main account where their income comes in and there's a decent amount of money in there, you can set up another checking account that account either you do it manually or you can set it up that is like $500. And then
Yeah.
so if something were to happen or that debit card was lost or some scam happened, the max they're losing is $500
Ideally, they
instead
should
of the big amount.
probably use a credit card and then pay the credit card from your bank account. You
Exactly.
shouldn't use your
Yeah.
debit card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then just watch for spending habits.
Yeah.
And then I also was saying that the green light card, like what we've given our kiddos, is awesome because that I get alerts every time they spend money, and then you can see if something like that's weird.
Yeah.
So that's I
And it has
really
a
like that,
limit.
and it has a limit, and I can easily add more money, and it's linked to their checking. But
Yeah.
what's scary is that I know one of my friends, her parents were getting scammed, and she's like, "Oh my god, they sold their house. They have this account with all this money just sitting there." And it's like, no, you want to like get their spending account away from like the bulk. And
Yeah.
so, so those three things to put into place, like alerts, daily spend maxes, and getting away from that main account is huge. And just having that conversation with them and just
It's a
saying,
hard one. I know
call
it's been
me before
hard.
you make a
Yeah.
big purchase.
Yeah.
One of my dear friends, broke my heart because her dad is this sweetest thing. She went to go visit him, and she was like, they live in a beautiful like 65 plus golf community, and she was there visiting, and she was like, her dad goes, "Hey, sorry, we're getting roof work done tomorrow, so sorry if they start making noise in the morning." And she was like, "Why are you getting a new roof?" And she goes, "Because," or he said, "Because, oh, they came by and they said our roof needed work, and he gave me a good deal, and because they can start right away." And she was
Yeah.
like, "Oh gosh." And then she was kind of realizing it, and she goes, "Did you get any quotes?" And he was like, "Well, no, because they gave me a good deal." And then he was starting to realize, and he's with it,
Yeah.
but it's
Well, I
like
mean,
they
anyone's
just
subject to whatever. Yeah.
exactly. And he goes, "Well, they did the neighbors." So then I think he was realizing he was kind of probably swindled, probably didn't need to at 70 something need to put a 25-year roof on. And
Yeah.
then you're like, obviously if they did the neighbors, they're just going through a senior community. So it's just little things like that. Like, "Hey, mom, dad, I just love you. I want to make sure everything's okay. 1 in 5 seniors are getting targeted. If you want to decide, it's your money, but please contact me so I can just, be another voice of reason
Yeah.
if you're going to spend over $500 on something." I
It's
think that's a
hard though.
really good
It's
conversation.
a hard one.
Sure,
Ugh.
but it really does. It's like kind of that
You have to do it. No, you
awareness.
have to do it. My sister's doing it
You
for my
do.
parents. My dad has, cognitive issues, and it's been a hard road for her.
Yeah.
And the more she dug into it, my mom was giving a sum every month to a charity that she couldn't afford, but she thought it was a write off. She didn't
Yeah.
understand, and so they're not bringing in any money to justify the write off, and it was a battle, because you have to tell somebody, well, and they're proud too, just like any other
Yeah.
individual. And it's like, no, you blew it. All that you were giving away, or all that you got, that you did give
Yeah.
away is not coming back, or
Right.
isn't
Because the
helping
person
you.
was probably like, "Hey, this is a write off." And she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm doing good. I'm getting the write off." But yeah,
But the
it's
write-offs are
not.
only justified if you have that. You got to have an income coming in that even warrants the need of any sort of write-off, and they don't. And yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it is important. You might think it's not going to happen to you or them, but in some small way, there'll be something that will happen almost to everybody, and you just have to watch it. Even like subscription services, it's really easy for
Oh,
your
yeah.
mom to hit and order crap on. And no matter what, I take it off, I turn
Oh,
it
on
off.
Netflix, you're talking.
All of them,
So my mom,
every subscription
every subscription.
service.
So my mom has a smart TV, and but we,
Yes,
yeah, but
it
like
doesn't
she
even
has her
matter.
own Netflix profile,
I've
and I'm like, "Netflix, I want to shake
it's
you."
not just that.
Yeah,
It's
it's everything.
all
But
of
they
them.
all you have to do is hit a button, and
Yes, yes.
parents, they just kind of hit buttons, and then it subscribes them, and then we're like, "Oh my god," and then we have to take it off again. And also your parents,
It's
if
annoying.
they're not, granted this is our account since my mom lives here, but there's also, I am totally blanking on the company, but there's one, it's always advertised on every podcast. Why can't they advertise on ours? But it's a app, and it will comb through your accounts to see
Yeah.
because they might be paying double on a subscription. And
No,
so
it's
I
there.
would go through
Yeah.
subscriptions too, which is a great thing for
And
you to
that
bring up.
actually might be a way into the conversation that
Yeah,
seems a little like, "Hey, mom, dad, I got this app that will help you to just see if might be overpaying. Everyone's
totally. Because
overpaying.
no
I
one
saw
wants
that
to.
I was
Yeah,
overpaying by accident $5 extra for
that
this
is a
music
good
thing that I don't
segue.
want."
Yeah,
And you can kind of maybe get your way in there, but we all are. Even us,
yeah.
vibrant,
Totally,
whatever,
because
young. Yeah.
it's like that fine
It's
print.
super easy.
Yeah, it
Yep.
is super easy, and it's super sad how prevalent it is. But it's just so important, and as nervous as you might be, it will save you both a lot of headache, and just hopefully if that having a little connection time, keeping in those I statements. And then also after all this, kind of that the layers of, okay, great. I want to get the power of attorney in place. I want to see where all your accounts are, just so we're aligned. And I know I want to make sure that you contact me if you want to spend over the certain amount. And
Yeah,
then
it's a hard road. That's a hard one.
and
You gotta
also
start it early because it
start it
only gets
early.
harder.
Totally. And just know that the first conversation you have could just be that seed planting, and then
Yeah.
there'll be many more. And anything you hear, if you say, oh my God, my best friend just did this with their parents, and both of them are, really like relieved about it. And then also, if you can, start talking to them about their long term care decisions. And this goes under that financial umbrella because a lot of people want to live at home. I think that's the dream, unless they need some social. I think retirement home for social, if they're a single or if that's just they feel better, safer doing that,
Yeah.
get involved. Get involved, make sure they have enough money and like looking at the long term picture. And say your parents are, they only have Social Security and then they have like $500,000 to their name. Okay. So when you are looking at a retirement home and they are wanting to move into a retirement home, that five to $10,000 a month goes by so fast. So one of
Yeah.
the things you should look for when you are looking at long term care with them, just say you want to make sure there's a place that can flip them to Medicaid, like a spend down, or flip them to Medicaid, because then they're in there and they can't be booted out. The home will just flip them to Medicaid. A lot of times they can keep the same room, which is awesome. And they don't have to find another place. Those are nicer than Medicaid places to just go straight into Medicaid. If they have to do that, it is what it is. Depending on their care and how much their care is a month, a lot of times it's less expensive to live at home if they don't need a lot of care.
Yeah.
It's way less.
Yeah.
And then they have this asset, all these things. So that's just one thing. These are things that I've learned from experience and from awesome experts that I've talked to. And this is such a huge, huge topic and pain point for so many of us in the sandwich generation. We've both been through it on our ends.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I just,
It's kind of hard not to.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's a bummer.
I would not be pushing you into the conversation if we didn't know how important it was, and always before you think you need it, because all it takes is one fall, or you
Anything.
notice
Well,
your
I
parents
mean,
repeating themselves,
yeah.
and you're like, oh God, so just get it done.
Well, I mean, shit happens, right?
Yep,
So
shit does
yeah,
happen. Yes,
it's gonna happen. If you put your head in a hole, it's still gonna happen.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And you just look at it as a team with your parent and not you taking over, but just be like,
Right.
hey, and a lot of how you work with your kid, like a teen or something, and just be like, hey, I just want to make sure you just got your first credit card. I want to see what you're spending it on. Let's talk about it. All that stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to approach it, and that you are coming from a good place. You just want to make sure that you're aware of everything going on and that they're not being taken advantage of, and putting those conversations out there, and then just checking in, be like, what, oh, I see you just got a new couch, can you call me next time, or right.
I guess. Yeah. It's a yeah. New couch. You threw me. I didn't expect that.
That was the first thing that, when things come in your head and you're like, I that just came out. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you walk into their place,
I
you're
get
seeing
it.
a new
Yeah.
item.
I mean, listen, they're still adults. They still can make purchases.
Yeah.
And as
Oh,
adults,
totally.
we can make like I could buy a guitar, which doesn't really feel like a smart purchase in your eyes, maybe, but I can justify it. So you have to allow them that
Oh,
it's
yeah.
also their money and they can spend it. It's just
Exactly.
protecting them from scams and big monster purchases that maybe
Yeah.
they
Like the
didn't
roof that
need.
didn't probably
Yeah.
need to be. And
Yeah.
then,
Or a donation every month that isn't
yeah,
making any sense.
exactly.
Yeah.
And you're so
It,
right. And it is their money. And you want to stress that to them. And
And so they should be able to
just want to
spend
make
it
sure
too.
they
Like,
should.
yeah, yeah.
And if they
Like, I
want to buy
mean,
a new couch,
if that's gonna make them happy, yeah,
totally,
yeah, yeah.
totally.
So
You just want to make sure that it's not a couch online that's
yeah,
going to be
because someone
shipped
was
to
door
them,
to door.
and that they gave someone their checking routing and account number for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just those things in place. But anyway, I hope this does not scare you, but motivate you and make you just know how easily it could be done both sides.
Easily, what can be done?
Easily the conversation could be started and easily they could be scammed. So it's like
So,
this, you're sandwiched in the middle, so go towards the light and
which
pick
is
the starting the conversation and that you are aware of this, you are informed, you are awesome,
so get a
and
power of
you're ready to
attorney is
rock.
number one.
Yes, for sure. I already said that.
I know we're
Yeah.
summing it
Oh,
up.
we're summing it
That's a
up.
summation. You tell them what you told them
Oh,
already,
yes.
so they have a
Get the
takeaway.
power of attorney. No, we'll start the conversation.
Yeah.
Get connected, start the conversation. Get the power of attorney in place. Get clear on where all the accounts are, where the cash lives, where the gold bars are,
Boom.
and then have the conversation about getting those spend notifications or daily if you really think your parent might need it, like the daily amount, or just getting away from that main account where a lot of the money lives, get it into another one where they spend from, and you're off to the races
All right.
on a good horse. If you loved hanging out with us, hit that follow button and share this episode with someone who could use a little midlife magic. Now go rock the rest of your day.